Our puppy parents, get ready, because today we are diving deep into something I bet we've all wondered about. Do our little fur balls actually miss their moms when they go off to those forever homes? And how can we even help them adjust? Well, we found this awesome article. It's from Will Your Pet, and it's called Do Puppies Miss Their Mom? And How to Help. Don't worry, though, we're not trying to sell you anything, just sharing the info. So if you are getting a new puppy, or maybe you just love to learn about dog behavior like me, get ready for some really helpful stuff.
I'm excited to dig into this. It's a question that really gets to something deep about those early bonds.
Okay, so first things first. Do puppies miss their moms or what?
The article says yes, a big yes, actually. And it's actually really interesting because they compare it to human babies. You know how babies will cry that first night away from mom? Well, it's the same for puppies. But they're not missing lullabies or anything. They miss their mom's scent and warmth in her heartbeat. Just think about it. For weeks, they're snuggled up with their littermates, and their mom is always there. So it's no wonder they feel a little lost at first.
It's almost like being taken from your world and dropped into a totally different one. But it's not just missing cuddles, right? The article also talks about this 8-week rule for taking puppies from their mom. And it sounds like there's more to it than just picking a random number.
Exactly. And that's where the science gets really fascinating. Those first 8 weeks, they aren't just about cuteness. It's when puppies develop like crazy. Not only are their brains forming super fast, but all their social skills are forming too. They're learning how to talk to other dogs. They're figuring out how hard they can bite during play. Basically learning to be a good dog in their pack.
So their mom is teaching them dog 101.
Exactly. And what's super interesting is that if a puppy is separated too early, before they've learned all these lessons, it can actually cause problems later on.
Oh, wow. So we're not just talking about a little whining that first night. This could lead to bigger behavior problems.
Definitely. It's totally possible. Imagine a kid who missed out on kindergarten. They might have trouble making friends. And adjusting to school would be harder too. It's kind of like that with puppies. If they don't have those basic social skills and confidence, they might be more nervous or anxious in new places.
This is blowing my mind. I always knew that waiting until 8 weeks was important, but I never knew how much was happening in those first few weeks.
It's pretty amazing, and it really shows why good breeders are so careful about that timing. They know that those weeks are an investment in the puppy's future.
That makes total sense. So let's say we have a puppy who misses their mom. But thankfully, they've had those important weeks of learning. Now we bring them home. What's next?
Well, that's where those practical tips from the article come in. And thankfully, there are some really simple things you can do, things that really work to make that transition easier. Remember how we talked about puppies missing those familiar scents and sounds? Well, one thing you can do is let your puppy sleep in your room for those first few nights.
Oh, so it's not just about us wanting to snuggle a cute puppy. It's actually helping them feel safe like they want.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like creating a little bridge from their old world to their new one. And because scent is so important to dogs, the article says you should bring a blanket or a toy from the puppy's first home. Something that smells like their mom and litter mates.
That's a great idea. Like bringing a piece of home to help them settle in.
Right. It's kind of like when a kid goes to camp with their favorite teddy bear. Speaking of comfort, get this. They even recommend putting a warm water bottle in the puppy's bed and wrap it in that blanket that smells like home.
Seriously. Like we're making a DIY mom.
I know it sounds kind of weird, but think about it. Warm, familiar smells. It's meeting those basic needs for comfort and safety, and those first few days are all about making them feel safe.
Okay, I'm totally trying that when I get my next puppy. But we can't keep giving them warm water bottles forever, right? So how do we move from those temporary comforts to building a real bond with our puppy?
That's where the real magic happens. All those snuggles and the warm water bottle and those familiar scents, they're like setting the stage for a deeper connection.
And, so we're not just going through the motions. We're actually shaping how they see being part of a human family.
Exactly. And as you're meeting their needs, like giving them food and playtime and lots of love, of course that bond just gets stronger and stronger.
So it's like any relationship. It takes time and effort, but it's so worth it in the end.
Totally.
Okay, so we've been talking about those downsides of separating a puppy too early. So how does this early bonding actually help with those risks?
Now, remember how we talked about a puppy maybe missing out on those super important social lessons if they're taken away too soon? They might end up being a little more timid or unsure in new places as they grow up. But when you create this safe and loving environment right from the start, you're helping them build confidence.
So it's like we're filling in those gaps, giving them that emotional support they need to do well, even if they missed out on some of that early puppy kindergarten.
That's a great way to put it. It's all about showing them that the human world can be just as loving and fun as their time with their mom and siblings.
And I bet that makes training so much easier too. A puppy who trusts you is probably way more excited to learn.
For sure. When a puppy feels safe, they're more open to new experiences, more willing to try new things. Think about it. If you're stressed and anxious all the time, it's harder to focus and learn.
Yeah, true.
But when you feel loved and safe, you can really grow. And it's the same for our furry little friends.
You know, this conversation has totally changed how I think about this.
Mm.
I used to think those early days were all about potty training and like basic commands, but it's so much bigger than that. It's like laying the foundation for a lifetime of trust and connection.
Exactly. And that connection is what makes the bond between humans and animals so amazing. It's about understanding each other and respect and unconditional love.
Oh, and speaking of understanding, I want to go back to that tip in the article about the dog camera. I have to admit, at first I thought it was just trying to sell us something.
Mm.
But the way they talk about it, like it's a way to help with anxiety, it actually makes a lot of sense.
I agree. It's not about spying on your puppy. It's about giving them a way to feel connected to you, even when you can't be there with them. Imagine being able to see and hear your human pack, even when you're alone in a new place. It can be really comforting.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's like sending a quick text to a friend just to let them know you're thinking of them.
Exactly. Especially in those first few days when you're building that bond, a quick check-in on the camera can help ease that separation anxiety and reinforce that connection.
You know, we've been talking so much about the puppy's point of view, which is super important. But I think it's time to think about us for a second. You know, the humans on the other end of the leash.
That's a great point. We often get so caught up in puppy-proofing the house and getting all those cute toys that we forget to get ourselves ready for all the emotions and challenges of being a puppy parent.
So we've given those little pups all the tools they need to feel comfortable. But what about us? Are we actually ready for all that puppy energy? I think we need a whole other deep dive just on that. So we've talked about how puppies feel when they leave their moms and some great ways to help them adjust. But now I think it's time to talk about the humans you know. The ones opening our homes and hearts to these little bundles of fur and energy. How can we get ourselves ready for puppy parenthood?
It's so important to think about that side of things. I see so many new puppy parents get caught up in the excitement of bringing their puppy home. And they forget to think about what life with a puppy is really like. It's not all cuddles and puppy breath.
Oh, I know. I remember when I got my first puppy, I was so not ready for those sleepless nights. And the constant cleaning up of accidents. It was a real lesson in patience.
Yeah, and that's why it's super important to be realistic. A puppy is not just a tiny adult dog who's perfectly behaved. They're learning and exploring and pushing boundaries. It's kind of like having a toddler.
Oh, yeah.
They're adorable, but they need to be watched all the time, and they need guidance.
So we're saying it's okay to accept that there will be accidents and chewed up furniture, and maybe even some moments where we wonder what we were thinking.
Exactly, and that's where preparation is key. Even before your puppy comes home, do your research. Look into different training methods. Find a good vet. Maybe even check out some local puppy training classes. It's like studying for a test. The more you know going in, the better you'll be able to handle those challenges.
Knowledge is power, right? And speaking of power, I think we often forget just how much energy puppies have.
Oh yeah, those zoomies are no joke. So be ready to change your lifestyle a bit. Long walks, playtime in the park, even brain games are really important for a happy and healthy puppy. A tired puppy is a well-behaved puppy, that's for sure. So true. A tired puppy is a dream come true. And you know something else I think is important to remember? Bringing a puppy home affects everyone in the family, even other pets.
You're right. If you have other dogs or cats, you have to introduce them slowly. And always supervise them. And even then, there's going to be an adjustment period while everyone figures out the new routines.
It's like adding a new member to the family, a furry four-legged one. And like any family, it takes time to find that balance and harmony.
That's a great way to put it. And through all the excitement and the chaos, don't forget to take care of yourself too. It's easy to get so wrapped up in being a puppy parent that we forget about our own well-being. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Find some time to relax. And don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
So it's not just about training the puppy. We need to train ourselves too, to prioritize our own needs so we can be the best puppy parents we can be.
Exactly. It's not selfish, it's essential. A happy and balanced owner is much better able to handle all the ups and downs of puppyhood. This has been such an amazing deep dive. We've learned about how puppies feel when they leave their moms, how to make that transition easier for them, and now how to get ourselves ready for this incredible journey. Do you have any final words of wisdom for our listeners who are about to start this adventure?
Just remember that every puppy is different, just like us. They have their own personalities and quirks and ways of learning. Be patient, be consistent, and most importantly, be present. Enjoy every moment because they grow up so fast.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Before we go, let's recap those key takeaways. Embrace the chaos, celebrate those milestones, and remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Oh, and don't forget to take lots of pictures.
Yes, those puppy days are precious.
This deep dive has been all about understanding and supporting our furry friends as they become part of our lives. But it's also been a reminder that welcoming a puppy is a two-way street. It's about growth and adaptation. And in the end, a love that's truly unconditional.
And to all our listeners who are welcoming a new puppy into their lives, congratulations. We wish you all the best on this amazing journey. And remember, you're not alone. We're all in this together.
Happy puppy parenting, everyone. Till next time.